from North America, from Canada even.
Yeah.
The man that beat M. Canning 2-0 in this tournament. Therefore, the villain, it's DisK.
That's a good villain criteria. I like it.
Yep.
And his opponent in that top left-hand side in the blue. You can tell it's been a long day, guys.
Yeah.
It's our American Pro Toss player. His name is PiLiPiLi from Genesis Gaming. Grant, how would you feel about driving the camera for a couple games?
Yeah, I can do that. I got you.
Yeah, it'd be great, man. Not that I'm lazy or anything, just
Right.
just that I'm a little bit lazy.
No, that's fine. So it does look like we can have double gateways from both of our players so far. Second gateway will be going down at about the same time. No one gate expand. NA, I do believe, to be a slightly more volatile, aggressive region if we were to generalize here. I certainly expect to see a lot of 2-base builds. I do expect probably we'll see some expansions coming out of these players, but I also wouldn't be surprised if we didn't see that at all. Both players going for a scout so far, nothing particularly odd. And where are those pylons going down? That is our first point of contention here in the PvP.
Yeah,
Open for both of them.
always the first question. You know, when's that going to happen and where are they going to be? So far, though, both players being very nice, responsible Protoss players. No hidden probes around the map. Nothing crazy going down just yet. Looking like both players want to do something a little standard, and in fact both their builds looking very, very similar, Grant. Double gateways into Cybercore, and just waiting now on what the tier 2 tech is going to be. PiLiPiLi saving up a little bit more minerals than his opponent, but not a huge difference. Going for 2 adepts instead of 2 stalkers, but nothing that'll break the bank there, Grant.
No, and by the point of this, by the position even of this pylon, I am expecting an expansion. Having a pylon up here just on this little cliff means if you want to drop a battery down the low ground, you can do that, and it's protected by the high ground pylon. We do see DisK going for the pylon block here just to make sure he sees what these first 2 units are. It is a adept here from PiLiPiLi, and it's very important that you do find out that information. Pylon gets cancelled, doesn't need too much adjustment, and now PiLiPiLi knows he does have to have a probe in this position patrolling just to make sure nothing suspicious goes on, and that is exactly what is going to happen. DisK preparing very nicely here. A couple of stalkers going to work away at the adepts. The adepts actually going to shade backwards, a little surprising maybe. One of them could go down here. This hasn't been controlled perfectly, I will say. Oh, the shot even went off, but gets captured by the shade. Living there on 3 hit points, will be able to retreat backwards to his friends. But a couple of stalkers going to come and see what is going on. No tech for either player so far here. That injured adept going to stay home, but we do have a proxy pylon here from DisK, and this is very close, Grayson.
Grant, I'm going to take you back in time to like 2012. Think about what StarCraft looked like in 2012. Can you imagine yourself trying to explain to a player in 2012 why you would build a pylon at the top of your opponent's ramp and then cancel it 30 seconds later for apparently no reason? They would be like going back 8 years, that is the most wrinkle brain play possibly imaginable. They're like, what? All that free scouting for only 25 minerals? That's crazy worth it. How incredible. And now it's expected as part of every game by every pro player. A little warp in here from DisK on the other side, but he's going to be just fine, man. I think there's not quite enough adepts here. And with good micro, our stalker player should be able to do it. DisK is going to lose a little bit here. Nice control, though, from PiLiPiLi.
Yeah, PiLiPiLi certainly be controlling this better, I would say, but ultimately the stalkers are a lot tankier than the adepts. And even with the adept shading and chasing, they are all going to go down, and stalkers can be walked in as a reinforcement unit much closer. And as the fight goes to, with the stalkers having the advantage, we'll see the adepts will fall much quicker, have no DPS output, and now DisK does have a higher army supply. There is no immortal out, and this base is under duress here. A couple of stalkers here to defend. They are into the battery, going to drain that one pretty quick here, but as 6 stalkers come in, he does have the ability to one-shot. He needs to mar up his shots, he's not doing it so far. This probe will go down. Of course, this proxy pylon is nice, but there is no quick warpings available. And it looks like PiLiPiLi is going to do a good job of defending here with a much, much faster saturated natural than that of his opponent, who's only just finished off.
Yeah, Definitely, and of course PiLiPiLi has that robo up a little bit earlier as well. Not working on anything yet. Well, as I say it, there it is. The Immortal comes out, and that earlier Immortal going to help PiLiPiLi out immensely if this does turn into a Stalker Immortal war. Now, I do wonder, since DisK has his robo down as well, if he's going to save up for that robo bay and go straight into Blink Stalker Disruptor. We see Blink is not started on either side yet, but that's still a plausible tech path for these players as we look at what their main bases look like. Grant, that forward pylon from DisK is still up. Is he going to use that for any more aggression this game? Or hang on just a minute. Wow.
Yeah, these two adepts getting in. They're going to run around a little bit, but now they are target firing correctly. The Immortal will be able to put this down slowly as they actually don't take massive damage from Immortals. This is big damage that DisK is managing to find. DisK here in this series can play the Joker because he has been eliminated. Right now he's playing for $100, and to really wind up his opponent and ruin their chances going forward. And we all love a good upset here. Now, DisK is going to save Adept. He gets 6 workers. That's a big advantage here. DisK now starting Immortals of his own. As you said, very surprising. No Twilight Councils from either player in NA. I mean, in EU it is a staple. You do not go without a Twilight Council unless you're playing Stargate. But we do have a big push coming from PiLiPiLi, and there are 2 Immortals here, Creighton, that can break this down, even if there are a couple of batteries. A little bit scared right now for DisK. Down in army supplies, going to need maybe even 1 more battery. This is going to be an interesting fight coming up.
That is really surprising, Grant. These 2 Immortals from PiLiPiLi, as we said, coming out just a little bit earlier. That early robo being a real boon for PiLiPiLi as he gets started in the early game. He's adding on a few more gateways as well, so we can really reinforce this push. Look at the structures tab right now. We see he's going to go up to 5 gates to the only 2 of DisK, and this early game investment in an army supply is actually paying off for PiLiPiLi a little bit here.
Yeah, the force fields were good here by DisK to defend. He managed to keep the Immortals out for a good 5 or 6 seconds there, which is going to save a unit or 2. And now Super Battery has been used, but the Prism is here from DisK, meaning he can juggle. He has an Immortal of his own, and the second one is pretty close, I believe, as well, to make its way down. It's just started, actually. Okay, getting closer. We have a couple of adepts that are going to shade up. If they get up into the main, and they will, this could be a risk here of PiLiPiLi returning the damage. He doesn't actually go through with it. I'm surprised by that. I'd like to have seen that complete. Could have got some damage. Sure, he'd have lost 2 adepts, or he's going to go up into the main Creighton.
Yeah, going to try and get a force field on the ramp there. And then these Stalkers, of course, with no blink, are going to be forced to walk in bit by bit. He's not going to get it, though. It looks like no force field. There it is! The force field goes down a little bit late, but the Warp Prism now has to individually micro these units down. That means the Immortals on the high ground are going to do incredible damage, Grant. Look at this pylon, so low. Oh, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. Slow those Warpins. PiLiPiLi, oh! It's all right. There's still a lot of army supply left on the ramp, but that's amazingly a hold from DisK. Now, 6 probes went down, Grant. Was that a good trade for PiLiPiLi?
I mean, he needed to find some damage. He didn't lose his Immortals, which is important. He is still being chased here by DisK. Oh, no. This is so bad.
He's not even going to make it out. Quablamo. Wow. Nothing at all from that Immortal, and that's just rough. And now we're going to see this really fun Immortal drop harass game of cat and mouse where both players are going to try and drop their Immortals on top of the other ones, and DisK, you know what, he's not even going to do that. As PiLiPiLi retreats to the safety of his natural, DisK is going to push in here with the forward pylon gone. He's got the Warp Prism available, but the Adept's going to go ahead and shade straight on up in the main, and this is just going to cause all sorts of consternation for PiLiPiLi.
Yeah, PiLiPiLi needs that Disruptor right now. The Super Battery goes off, but it doesn't save the Immortal. The good thing is,
no, there's nothing good. There's nothing good, Grant. There is no good thing. DisK grabs game number 1. What a nice play there. All around solid play. Good defenses from DisK. Not getting overwhelmed by that drop into his main base.
Yeah, it didn't work out there.
Get some water, Grant. Help yourself, buddy. Hey, my StarCraft is again pausing for a very long time after the game here. Hopefully this is a temporary issue, but it will slow down the lobby linking just a little bit. Hopefully it doesn't bother anybody else, though.
Okay, I think I'm alive.
Okay, as long as you think you're alive.
You breathed down the wrong hole?
Oh, I know.
I breathed down the wrong hole. Okay, we're okay. So yeah, we'll be getting into this very shortly. We're just going to wait for Creighton's StarCraft to stop being a nightmare. It is being a little bit cheeky today. I will just let traders stay.
Yeah, I'm stuck on the score screen here, and I've got a little blue, like the Windows blue circle, like not even the StarCraft one, the Windows one, and it says that StarCraft is not responding. I'm gonna have to restart again, Grant. Yeah, apologies, guys. We'll get back into it very shortly here. So, Grant, DisK grabbing that game number 1. How do you feel about his chances moving forward? What can PiLiPiLi do to try and come back?
Yeah, I mean, it's PvP, so anything can happen still. In terms of aggression, DisK certainly executed better. His micro was very good. His hold at the natural with force feels very, very strong here, not allowing the units, the immortals, to get much surface area there. As I'm laughing at Trados's awful joke.
Great.
We will be getting into match 2 soon. Just waiting for our boys to get back into the game. Yeah, I do think we will see another pretty aggressive 2-base game. It's very much the way that NA StarCraft 2 likes to be. They are generally quicker series. It's very fun as an outsider to watch. Just so you guys know, coming up on this stream after this series, which could end at any time, we will have Scarlet taking on Vindicta. An important match to close out Group A for today. Need will take on Massa. And then finally, Patty Mac, everyone's favourite, player this season, will take on Asuna. That will be wild as well. Asuna is a mental player that does whatever he wants, really.
Yeah, it's interesting to see Asuna doing such a poor job in this tournament overall. He's already been eliminated 0-5. And honestly, one of the players who I think was expected to make a pretty decent run this time, we've all been a little surprised at his lack of performance here in Group B for the North America regional group stages. I've been shocked for one, and it'll be interesting to see if he can pull out a win finally. Again, one of those players expected to move on. I don't know about strongly, but certainly a contender in that group for one of those 3rd and 4th place spots. So a little strange there, but we're ready to roll back in the lobby here for game number 2, Juggernaut with PiLiPiLi and DisK. Oh, my sound is off now. Hang on, I can fix that. Boom. God, this is so weird. I hope it doesn't happen after every single game. That'd be really frustrating, Grant. We'll have to see what happens with that. Anyway, getting into game 2 now. Juggernaut, DisK 1 game up over PiLiPiLi. Oh, man. I think if DisK wins, it'll be the expected result, right? DisK favored a little bit? I don't know. It's hard to say. PiLiPiLi, of course, winning in the bracket. So if PiLiPiLi loses, it's going to be a tough loss for him, setting him to 3-3 in the bracket. Yeah,
we'll make the final day that more important. For now, we load into Juggernaut for map 2. DisK currently has the lead, as we said, 1-0. And our player in the top right-hand side of Juggernaut, representing Root, he is the red Protoss player from Canada. Root for Root, it's DisK.
And his opponent in the bottom left-hand side in the blue from Genesis Gaming, it is our American Protoss player, PiLiPiLi. Let you drive again, Grant, if that's all right?
Yeah, I can do, man.
Great, man. You're doing a fantastic job observing, and it allows me to sit back in my chair just a little bit, lean back, relax a tad. It's hard, as you know, it's hard to do the whole game or the whole day on full alert as you're trying to commentate, observe, run production. It's a lot.
Yeah, definitely. Now we see double gases for both of these players, getting them at the normal time here of 18 supply. Everything very standard for a 2-gate cyber expand or 2-gate cyber attack for both of these players so far. Nothing strange going on. We'll see second gateways going down at the same time for both. And now we need to keep an eye on where these probes are going to go. Juggernaut, not a bad map at all for proxies. In game 1 we didn't see that. Both players going for their second pylon at home. This game, it does look like they are going to cross in the middle. That generally gives you the impression, at least, that we are going to be seeing just the scout and pylons going down at home. That will be coming down as the next thing now, and it is going to be both of them going down in their hometowns. Nothing strange to start us off again here, Creighton. Anything catching your eye?
Well, that's what's strange in and of itself, Grant, is that there's nothing strange happening. It's like watching a Turkey Dano game when he drops a gateway first, and you're like, what the hell? This is not North American PvP. We hyped this up considerably, Grant, where we were like, man, this is exactly what you want from a PvP. North America, crazy stuff. It's going to be a clown fiesta. And we've seen 2 pretty sober, normal, average games so far. So I think that speaks highly of the players and especially shows a lot of respect on both sides here. You don't one base all in a player that you respect a whole lot. Generally speaking, you're going to go for a much more normal play. So good stuff from these players. And I know PiLiPiLi, gotta take this seriously. If he loses this, his tournament life may be over.
It would certainly put him at risk. I know other results become the determining factor here. PiLiPiLi this time, he's made sure that pylon didn't go down to find out what his units are. Right now we do have DisK playing in the dark. He now sees that there are a couple of adepters here. They are going to shade and catch that probe and move out. It does look like an expansion here for PiLiPiLi ahead of that of his opponent. And once again here, we do see DisK concentrating on a lot of Stalker production. He did get a Sentry too, going for a very standard opening. Both Nexus is down at the same time as the hallucination is fired out. Looks like we're going to be moving into a mid-game where nothing is particularly crazy.
This is wild. I mean, the resources lost tab. Both players have lost one probe so far. Like, just nothing. Been a very passive game and not quite what we expected, I think, from DisK and PiLiPiLi. DisK is known as a player who can take it to the mid game, take it to the late game, and have really significant plays in those periods. So I'm not surprised that he's trying to push it to the late game here. PiLiPiLi, I am a little surprised he's letting it go this far. He's also known as a player who's strong in the late game, but I would have thought that he had an advantage over DisK and maybe would have tried to push that advantage a little bit more quickly. As it is, though, it's all right. You know, both players going for that Twilight Council, and we're going to see pretty standard, what do you think, Grant? Blink and blink on either side?
I would imagine, so of course we've seen... No, actually, PiLiPiLi is not going blink. There's no way PiLiPiLi is going blink, right?
Good idea.
He has,
yeah,
like, 8 adepts already, and Shade is only going to benefit them. It does finish very quickly, too. I mean, he might do it and transition hard out of this from what he has done. We did see him in game 1 make a load of adepts and then not really use them. He is going to transition into a blink-based play, which I don't hate. These adepts offer so much pressure right now if a mistake is made on this ramp. If that wall doesn't go up, oh my god. There's enough adepts to break it, though. If they target down that pylon, they can walk straight in.
Oh, man, and that force field actually going to hurt going to hurt DisK much more. The sentry's going to go down, and now these adepts going to get into the main base, going for that probe line. The stalkers have finally gotten past that force field, but again, these adepts can just shade back out. This is such a potent play, Grant. You skip glaives, you skip the robo, and you hit with about 8 adepts first and foremost. You shade back down to the natural and keep doing damage. And then, of course, you follow this up with blink play, so it's not an all-in from PiLiPiLi, but already getting some good damage done, keeping those stalkers busy, and probably could even cancel that shade. No, he's going to go for it. Wow, and continues to pick off probes left and right. What a nice build order from PiLiPiLi here, catching DisK by surprise.
Yeah, no, he does have to be careful. He doesn't just lose all his units very quickly and leave himself open to a counterattack. That, of course, isn't being the case here. He has bought himself a lot of time, killed a lot of probes here. 10 units, it's not a lot for the amount of adepts that he has, but he is now ahead. You can see 13 workers behind this. He's moving into Robo. He's getting +1 very quickly. Blink of his own. Right now, he's down in supply, and we probably will see DisK maybe try to push out a little bit, knowing that he has killed a lot. That's not going to be the case. DisK is going to sit back and macro out of this even. Dark Shrine here. PiLiPiLi is piling on the pressure, being a real annoyance for his opponent right now. And if DTs aren't scouted, this could be scary for DisK, who does have a forge, but there are no cannons. There is no robo for DisK, so there is no observers. If cannons aren't put up in time, these DTs will ruin his day.
Yeah, Dark Templars take a long time to build, and the Dark Shrine itself is a very, very laborious building to go up. I think because it's so tall. I think that's why it takes so long.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Definitely increases the build time. But what's interesting here is that PiLiPiLi's gone for a slightly unorthodox opener. Not something you see every day, is this Adepts into Blink Stalker play. It's gotten a little more common in NA, and that's why you're able to call it a little bit earlier if you see that no Robo's going down and there are a lot of Adepts out. Oh my god, that scout from DisK misses the Dark Shrine. I don't think he saw it. I don't think he saw it. Let me check DisK's vision here real quick. But no, he did not see the Dark Shrine, just barely missing it. That's incredible, Grant. Huge loss from DisK. I'm not sure if he suspects it. He is getting a Robo, which indicates that he might suspect something's going on. But Dark Shrine finished up. Warp Prism getting out on the map here, and these Stalkers are not going to catch it, Grant.
No, this Dark Shrine, I mean, a Robo at this stage is standard. He needs to immediately make Chrono a observer, and then he needs to probably make a second as well. I do have PiLiPiLi just going to trade out here, blinking forward. Oh my gosh, that's so aggressive. This one Stalker is, I mean, he shouldn't be here. He is going to end up getting caught probably eventually, but he's going to stop the expansion going down. That's really key play here from DisK. The problem is these 4 DTs warping in right now, and guess what? He doesn't know. He doesn't have a clue. There's no observer. The Robo finishing up right now. Here comes the Shade. He's going to target down the Robo.
Straight for the Robo. What a beautiful shot. And that's an immediate GG. Those Dark Templar are doing exactly what they were built to do, Grant, which is just mess up DisK and give us a game 3 on behalf of the casters and the viewers. Hey, PiLiPiLi. Thanks, buddy. We're excited for Game 3. What a good clutch move there. DisK cutting a couple corners there after losing a bit of his economy. Not just from the lost probes, from the lost mining time. Has to cut the corners there. Doesn't get the photon cannons down. Very late robo and doesn't have the observer out in time. Instant GG.
Yeah, it is frustrating for DisK. He did have to cut those corners. The Adepts just did too much. If the wall had gone up, we'd have been seeing a very different game there. He would have maybe lost a few on the natural, but the main would have been undeterred. The Adepts would have died much quicker. And now DisK forced to go onto map 3. It is going to be Death Aura, so a very standard map. And PiLiPiLi keeps his life, keeps his chances alive of pulling ahead in this series. He needs this win if he wants to put himself in a pretty healthy position to move on in the groups to the bracket stage. But still a tough road ahead here for PiLiPiLi. Needs to beat the Canadian one more time on Death Aura. Just waiting to get into that one now, guys.
Yeah, it's nice to see a bit, I was going to say a bit of a standard game there in the previous game. Standard's a strong word for what just happened there. A slightly unorthodox build there from PiLiPiLi, but he still transitioned into a very normal build, and like DTs there, I don't think were intended. Usually if you get DTs at that point, you're expecting them to have an observer out, or pardon me, expecting them to have a photon cannon down, and what you kind of want to do is get the DTs in, see if they can get any damage done, maybe snipe a couple probes here and there, get them back, turn them into Archons, and then push with a little bit more damage, some splash damage, and a bit more sustainable damage overall. So I think PiLiPiLi maybe even a little surprised that he was like, well, I guess if it catches you unprepared, it wins, which is one of the great reasons to go Dark Templars into Archons instead of Templar Archives into Archons as well. So we're getting into Game 3 right now, Death Aura, and I expect to see Grant another standard game. I would be shocked and surprised if we saw a Cannon Rush, if we saw a Proxy Robo. I just don't think that's going to happen here. There's too much on the line, especially for PiLiPiLi.
Yeah, I would agree with that one, Craig, and I think both of these players seem to be looking at 2-base timings instead of those 1-base builds. We are now getting into it, though, and our players, one final time into the breach, one final time over the hill. Our player at the top left of Death Aura, representing Team Root. He is the Canadian Protoss player in red. It's DisK.
And his opponent in the bottom right-hand side in the blue, representing Genesis Gaming and North America, or, you know, the United States of America, as we say over here. It is PiLiPiLi.
So, yep, everything going down as normal at home. Pylon's in the right place. Gas is going to be taken very shortly, with the second one most likely taken at 18. Neither player gonna break the mold here and go for anything exceptionally odd. And it's going to come down to, first of all, where those pylons are. They have opted the last few games to keep everything at home and keep their tech, you know, within their main base. You never know, in PvP there are so many options to mix it up. You can either see scouts going on here. DisK very nervous about the possibility of a Pili cannon rush. And PiLiPiLi not going for that scout gets that very, very, very slight economic advantage here. His second gas, though, a little bit late, actually.
Quite late, yeah, and that indicates...
It's just for a one-gate expand.
Yeah, gateway into Nexus there. Very surprising from PiLiPiLi. A bit of an economic build. No, I don't know if it's greedy or not, if you kind of guessed what's going on in this game. There has been no real pressure the last two games either. It's a safe-ish bet to go for the gateway into Nexus, into Cybercore, and then grab that other gas. He is at 20 workers. At 21, he should grab that other gas, or yeah, 20 now. Either way, as a Protoss player, generally speaking, once you get to 21 workers, you may as well build that second gas. There's basically nothing else you can do in the build besides getting that second gas up. So a little bit later gas for PiLiPiLi, but he's not that far behind, and he should be just fine. Now, Grant, these very common openers and these very standard openers give us an opportunity to talk a bit more about Group A. Of course, we've mentioned where DisK and PiLiPiLi stand. DisK at 1-4. PiLiPiLi at 3-2, so PiLiPiLi must win this one, whereas DisK has already been mathematically eliminated from the group. But who are some of the other players in Group A, Grant, that you're really seeing as threats?
Yeah, I mean, Vindictor is always a threat. Jon Snow sitting at 2-3, and of course Nina, Future, and Scarlet currently still safe in this group. It's at the top, it's pretty one-sided. You see Future and Scarlet and Nina all at 4-1 at very, very good scores, playing for that top 2 space. But coming into 3rd and 4th, it is going to be difficult for these players, for PiLiPiLi, for Vindictor, and for even M. Canning. Jon Snow, who knows, of course, M. Canning automatically gets 1 extra point because he's a badass.
Yes.
And sometimes casts with us, so we love him. Stargate going down here from PiLiPiLi. I think a Void Ray has to come out pretty quickly here from PiLiPiLi. if it does have the battery, so it's not under massive risk. He's getting a second battery too. Okay, yeah. I don't hate that because, of course, he does have less units, only having one gateway.
Yeah, definitely. We're seeing PiLiPiLi's corners that he cut to get that early Nexus down. Actually, yeah, coming into play here and being a big factor. That forward gateway from DisK going to be a very, very potent force as the game goes on. We'll be able to warp in quickly from that forward location. Who needs a warp prism if you proxy a gate? And wow, is he proxying a shield battery there, Grant? He absolutely is. That's bananas. Wow, double shield battery proxy.
And do you know what? You mentioned 2012 earlier, and what better way to shout out 2012 than a good old-fashioned 4-gate? Don't see this too often, but yes, this is a 4-gate stalker build with a proxy gateway here and 3 in the main. Second void ray going to be necessary here. 4 batteries is good, only 1 pylon is very scary though. Second one going to come down here from PiLiPiLi.
Yep.
This is all about the micro, and neither of these players are Huck, neither with top 3 control in the world. Going to need to really, really focus here and make no mistakes.
Yeah, definitely. Shield battery's shield battery already almost drained of energy here for PiLiPiLi. He's got to get that last one up because right now he's got 4 shield batteries, but about 1 shield battery left of energy. First Stalker does go down for PiLiPiLi here. DisK, though, his shield battery's pretty low as well, getting 1 more down, but the Stalker count is just so high, Grant. DisK all the way up at 12 Stalkers to 3 of PiLiPiLi.
He hasn't enough to one-shot. He hasn't enough to one-shot everything. This void ray going down, that's massive. That void ray was the last bastion of hoping for PiLiPiLi. And unfortunately, DisK, the successor to his Canadian man, the man we mentioned, Huck, is going to be able to pull ahead of this, and I don't see any way back right now. No. The pylons will go down. It doesn't supply what PiLiPiLi, but it puts him in a very bad position. And he has nothing. He has a Zealot, another void ray about to pop.
He's going to do depower.
Cry your eyes out.